of
All right,
Nothing
in
podcast.
three. No. In 3, 2,
What? Wait, I
1.
wanted to.
Economy of nothing.
Economy of nothing. We could make it a
Economy of
round.
nothing.
We should make
No,
it a
I just thought we.
round.
I just thought
Perfect.
we were going to talk about what we were going to talk about before we started the podcast, but we can just start up. That's
No,
cool.
let's talk about it.
Let's start this off, everyone. Hey, welcome back to our 27th season, or maybe 28th. I can't remember my count. To the Economy of Nothing podcast, where you're watching a show in real time. I am your host, Mr. Green, aka Business Mike, aka Mike Allen, and also my co-host Cheyenne, which is followed by Ryan. Would you like to say hello?
Ryan, no last name. Okay.
Ryan, no last name.
Moving on.
All one word.
And another creator co-host, Mike Badont.
I don't even know what we're doing next. Let me transition to something wildly different.
Okay, great.
Okay, let's talk about the book club TV show club.
Genius.
I just want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about the Dispatch. I want to talk about the TV show club. Okay. Part of the problem we're having right now, the part of the problem in the world, is that people are not talking about common points of reference. So a thing I want to do in this show, and part of the thing about creating the economy of nothing as this thing that other people are contributing to stuff, is that we can come to agreements on what stuff is, and then we can have like analogies for things that work because we all agreeing on how these things work and stuff. And part of having a common conversation, I think, is commonly talking about, we're making a TV show, we should have a common conversation about TV shows. I thought that we could maybe like once a week pick an episode of a show, we could rotate around and like watch it, and the person suggesting it can say nothing about it. Maybe they can say, I don't think this is the best episode of the show, but it showcases this one thing that we talked about last week that like I think is like, we'll explain to you what I think a protagonist should be in a show or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, and then when we are having disagreements or something about a show, it's about, we can like reference back to episodes of shows that we know we have all seen recently. And I think that could be like, and it could just be fun to talk about shows, and hey, it gives you an excuse to watch a thing. It could be fun. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It didn't sound that much fun, but yeah, no, we could totally do that.
Love Pink.
All right, we won't do that either. All right, what's next on the docket?
No, I think it makes sense, and I think that it's exactly what we're talking about already, or what I was just referencing with the Inside Out stuff. I feel like I'm bringing up Inside Out, but if you guys didn't know what Inside Out is,
bringing up Inside Out.
But if you didn't know what Inside Out is, then it's like there's.
Is that your favorite movie?
I saw something that was like, here's how Pixar designed movies over time. They're like, what if toys had emotions? What if Scottish people had emotions? What if like fish had emotions? What if emotions had emotions? And I think so yeah, it's my favorite. I do think it's my favorite sequel of any Pixar film. It's so good. But like, is Coco a better movie? I think Coco was Pixar. I'll look that up while everyone else talks about Pixar and how genius it is. But I think it would be helpful to have a common reference point, or like a piece of media that we discuss what we liked about it.
Okay, so let's talk about Burn Notice.
I've never seen Burn Notice a minute of my life.
Oh my god!
I know you two are obsessed with Burn Notice.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, if nothing else comes out of this episode of the podcast, we're agreeing on an episode of Burn Notice to watch this week, and we're going to talk about it next week. Or I'll be on this podcast by myself talking about an episode of Burn Notice.
The drama.
Right. I can promise that I can watch an episode of Burn Notice.
I can pirate an episode of Burn Notice.
Is it?
I'll send you guys a pirated version of the episode of Burn Notice we're going to watch.
Okay.
But for those of you who don't want to spend money, I'll put the pirated version on economyofnothing.com/stash.
My God,
you guys can watch it,
Mike. But it's also on Hulu. It looks like.
Also, make sure to check out the Economy of Nothing website, as Mike might have to start working on it a lot more.
All right, I seriously want to watch. If nothing, I would like to watch season 2, episode 10, Do No Harm.
Oh wow, you really do have an episode, season 2, episode 10. Burn Notice.
You have no idea, Ryan. This guy right here. If there was a Michael Weston fan club, not the actor who plays Michael Weston, but a Michael Weston fan club, like he would be the president and leader and CEO of it, because He thinks that that man can do no wrong, and that most of the television up until season 4 is probably the best way to ever do TV. In a lot of ways, he is right for the time with the budget. It
Context,
just gets
baby.
really cheesy after season 4.
I am aware that y'all love Burn Notice. Okay,
Yeah.
I have other media that I'm thinking of for future
I
episodes,
think,
so great. We can start
but
with
I
that.
think episode like honestly, I think episode season 2 episode whatever I said, do no
10, I
harm. What
think.
which I can't remember what it
Yeah,
was.
episode 10.
Season 2 episode 10, do no harm. Like it has this moment that is like the quintessential like no, this is why I like Michael Weston, and this is a character thing that I like. Like
Okay. I got it. You
yeah.
got the juices flowing now. Okay, Mike Badone's episode is going to be Michael Weston.
And then
I know
next
mine.
week, do we want to like build a rotation? Do we want to be like, oh, and
Yeah,
Ryan, the next week you got to give us an episode, right? Like of
yeah,
something.
Ryan. Well, I have my episode I want.
Okay,
I
what's
already know.
your...
Okay, but don't tell us yet. I don't think,
Oh,
right? Wait till next week to
Yeah,
tell
why
us.
not? Who
No,
cares?
because is it a book club like that? I don't know how book clubs work. I guess.
Yeah, but like you don't.
you would normally finish a book and then you
Not everybody's gonna
discuss
know
it.
the episodes we're talking about. Like, how many people have watched Bird Notice at this point?
Not me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
like,
they should if they want to enjoy that
listen,
part
I
of the
really like my
podcast next
episode,
week,
and
they
I
should
didn't need to
watch
know
this
what
episode of
episode
Burn
it is.
Notice.
That is so
Can I
true.
just tell you? Can I just tell you the show? Can I just tell you the
Yeah,
show?
we'll just bleep you out during this
I
moment.
just think this will confuse people, but sure.
All right, Mike Badone, your episode is going to be an episode of Burn Notice. Mike Allen, my episode is going to be my brand of episode is going to be Scrubs.
Iconic.
So in 2 weeks, we're gonna watch an episode of Scrubs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that episode is a good episode of showing a lot of character growth.
You didn't name any episode of
Applicable to
Scrubs yet.
characters in the show.
Well,
Is that what you're trying to do?
I mean, do you want to
Oh,
name it
okay.
ahead of time? And then
Okay,
I
I
guess
see,
people
I
could
see.
watch ahead or something. That's cool. If you got it picked, yeah, give people 2 weeks to watch. Yeah, what are we doing? Yeah, absolutely tell them what's 2 weeks from now. What am I doing?
Okay. Yeah. So my episode is the episode of Scrubs.
Scrubs season 6, episode 7, his story 4.
Can't remember the name of it, but it's where it's like JD. Everybody thinks that they know Dr. Kelso, right? And like, he's just this mean guy all day long. And at the very end, that last song, there's like by that one guy was like, "These feelings won't go away," and then it's like Dr. Kelso, like the feelings didn't go away when the foot hits the floor at the end. And it's just there's so much that goes on in that episode that from like character development wise that's happening all around, and that's what I see for the characters of the show. Like that's what everybody has to have something like that going on. Not all the time, but like an overarching thing that is like there. And it does not everybody's has to be present. I think it's just a good
I mean,
litmus
I'm
test of how
excited
it could go.
I'm excited to talk about that because I have a lot of thoughts about that especially in shows in the way we're doing this and the idea of like, man, would you have done that in season 1 if you had had a chance to think about it, right? Would you have had Kelso be like that mean if you knew 7 seasons from now you kind of wanted to say something else about him? You know what I mean? And like, we have the time to think about that stuff. And like, there's some stuff we can't control about the show, like the budget and things like that, but you can decide how much you're going to like think about this stuff before you do it if you have the time, right? Instead of just like, why we spend time on like, hey, maybe Cheyenne's number 2 munitions guy should have like, he should have a thing or two going on at first. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and not that like,
you're thinking, your mentality of thinking is like measure twice, cut once. And I'll be honest with you, I work best at last minute, and that I know that sucks, but that's just how ADD people work. Is that you do your best work pressed against a wall. I can do it when I like it, and be focused on it, which I can this way. But it is, for me to like think backwards, like twice, let alone once, like it is difficult for me to do that. So I think that's why I'm struggling with what you're saying sometimes on this.
Thinking backwards twice does sound fucking hard. Wait, what do you mean thinking backwards?
Well, that's what he just said. He was just like, we could think about our
Oh yeah, like in
characters in
season
the sense
7.
that, do I want them to be I want them to be this way, but
Mm.
he's comparing it to season 7 of Scrubs of Dr. Kelso, and it's like, did they plan that? No, but there's no way they could have planned that
Yeah, I
because
know.
they're also writing the show season to season, and the characters are growing. Like,
I know.
I can't think of every possible quantum multiverse narrative I want Mr. Green to have. I'd go fucking insane.
I know,
There's
but
no way I could do that.
like the problem with but that's why it's cool with shows like that they're able to like keep any consistency and come back and do all this stuff. That's why it's so horseshit nowadays that all of these shows suck because they have infinite time and money and they don't think about any of it. Thinking's
Oh,
fucking
that's what he's
free.
saying.
Like, do you
You're
know,
saying,
like
economy of nothing.
the economy of nothing. Thinking is fucking free.
And it's like available at your fingertips now with ChatGPT. So, but nobody knows that yet. So we're all kind of banking somebody figures it out. We think we're probably the first, if not like the first of 100 or 1,000, maybe 10,000. I don't know. But you guys aren't as smart as us. So
we're kind
I
of
would never say
free
that to anybody
thinkers,
but
if
you
you
two.
will. Well, the
Yeah,
piece
we've
of
been around the
media.
We're kind of a
Hey,
cabal of
millennials.
free thinkers if
We're
you think. We're all
millennials.
individual thinkers thinking together on the internet. Oh man, do you think there's some other like-minded folks like us we could get together? Maybe we're saying some shit people haven't heard before. I don't know.
Let's join a free thinking society and see what comes from that. Let's join one of those
Free
forums.
thinking society.
To be clear, I said thinking's free, not be a free thinker.
Oh, we'll just create our own brain trust, just like in Scrubs. Yeah.
My piece of media, which I will hold off until 2 weeks from now or whatever, I was thinking that it would be interesting if we brought all 3 of our like episodes at once, but maybe that's too convoluted.
Oh, next week, let's do it. Let's do it. What's your?
Well,
what
it would be interesting if we like compared or found similarities across the 3 pieces, and it would be easier to like
let's do
unite
it.
them, you know?
I love it.
But
Yeah.
well, my piece of media that I was thinking about is not actually a TV show. It's a scene from The Prince of Egypt, aka the story about Moses. And it's just like a YouTube video that anyone could watch.
I did not expect that at all. Dude, I'm sorry.
Like, I want to put my foot down and be like, I think we should compare television shows to each other. Like, I think that's the idea here, but I guess I'm being a real prick today. So if I'm wrong, sure.
No,
Let's
I don't
do
want to
it.
do Moses.
Let's do it.
Really
Okay, you guys are asking me to watch a 40-minute episode and a 22-minute episode.
Dude,
no,
mine's
I'll
3
do it.
minutes.
I'll do it.
Mine's only
I'll
3 minutes.
But like, let's watch an episode of Coco Melon then. Right?
But
That would be more.
Literally watch an episode of Bluey for what you just referenced.
No,
Prince of Egypt,
listen,
it's just
fine.
a song. It's an easy, quick song.
But fine.
You don't know another.
Then next week I'm going to make
think
us
about
watch
TV
part of the
shows.
10 Commandments with Charlton.
No,
Why is it
okay.
always Christianity with
I
you
can
over
just
there?
text y'all. I mean, honestly, it
Get
is
some
always
guilt, boy.
Christianity with
You
me.
need some therapy, boy.
No, like that is
I say you need therapy, boy.
that is
Oh, yeah.
true, and that is true. It's always Christianity. I do need therapy, and yet this song
It
from
helps
the
get
Prince
rid
of
of the
Egypt
guilt,
is
Ryan.
really good.
As someone who also struggles with it, I can tell you that.
That's just
And you're welcome. This is past Mike. Like, you're gonna come back. You're gonna think of this later once you go. Maybe you listen to this episode.
look.
and
All
you'll be
I'm
like,
saying is,
oh my god, he was so right. I don't have any more guilt.
I feel
about
like
Christianity.
some of my points that I've made in the past, I feel like I was considering them over the past few weeks, and then I was thinking, this song from the Prince of Egypt perfectly exemplifies what I'm talking about with these motherfuckers.
Can I ask a question while we're here? Because I'm letting this go. This is going to happen.
You're letting
I guess.
this
Send the link.
go?
I'm
Mike,
letting
we're
it happen.
free thinkers. You can't stop us even if you wanted to.
FTS Club, baby.
That is true. That is true. I would never try and convince you to think but what if there was money? Then you'd think what I thought.
Well, how
Once
much
we
are
get
we
money,
How
you'll
much
agree
are
with
we
me.
talking here?
No, I'm not. But like, I'm question this. I guess
Yeah.
who is singing it out of curiosity?
It's Moses.
Okay.
Mhm.
No,
Well, for example,
honestly, Ryan, I have used Moses as an example of the captain too.
Moses
so
is
this
an
not
icon.
far
Is
afield.
Moses
Like,
not an
no.
icon? Does not everyone
No.
already understand who Moses is? Everybody
Yeah.
knows Moses. But he's a
But
he's a
in all
popular queen.
In fairness to
history.
Ryan, I have referenced Moses when talking about the captain as like the concept that like Moses walked them through the
That
desert
might have
for,
been where I
like,
got this
3
idea
days.
from.
And yes,
Low key.
and like I'm like there is a world where the story plays out that the captain's not allowed into the promised land. That like what he makes for others, he cannot himself enjoy, right?
Heard.
Like
true and real. But if I have to think of an episode of a TV show, I could think of one.
You?
I could think really hard.
VeggieTales? Oh, is there a VeggieTales on Moses?
You need to watch Moses Righteous Gemstones. Like, you would think that shit is hilarious. It's great.
Actually,
all right, well,
I've heard
the next time we do this, Mike, you can recommend and do a Righteous Gemstone.
Yeah, don't get ahead of yourself.
Listen, I know what's funny. I'm a free thinker, part of the FTS club.
Righteous Gemstones.
I'm telling you,
that's on Max. You want me to get HBO now too? Christ.
So that is something when we start doing this that we we've both said two Hulu things.
And mine is on YouTube.
Cool. You can get HBO Max for like
but like I think
with a Hulu bundle.
Boo! I ain't get. Listen, unless we're watching episodes of The Wire.
I'm going to rewatch The Wire. I mean, I'm going to rewatch Sopranos because I've never finished it and I need to, but it's just so slow, and
I never started.
I get to like season 2.
Does it live up to the hype?
The Economy of Nothing, Sopranos.
Dude, I'm telling you, I get to season 2 every time.
Maybe we'll learn something about doing real business. You know what I mean?
Business stuff, Ryan.
Like making offers.
Wait, is Mr. Green like a mob boss?
I would like to think that
Cheyenne?
Mr. Green could get a little mob bossy, but only because he's pretending to be one. But it's like an act, right? Like he's just a wild card.
Yeah.
Trying to like out.
Well, if we go back to Robin Hood Men in Suits, our favorite episode of the show, you know, I mean, there is there's totally a place like Mr. Green becomes a cult leader on Pandora. Like he's doing a bunch of stuff that like mob boss fits perfectly into Mr. Green's whole like 100% in, 100% out of everything kind of thing that he's doing, where it's like, oh, the rules don't matter. Mob boss, then, right? Is totally like an episode.
You know what? I just realized,
right? As he's like trying to find his way.
You know what? I just realized where you got that from Mr. Green. It's like every idea you have for Mr. Green, it's very right, because when I get into something, I'm very focused, hyper focused into it. So it's funny because you see it that way, and it's like, but yeah, that's the way it is, right? Like I'm like, it was the way I was with crypto. I was just like, this is what it might not be anything, but I think you can make some money, right? Like, and then it's just like, nope, didn't do it. And then stocks and ETFs and the MetaQuest. Yeah, you just get super, but that's how I am, man. Like when I like something, I like it, and most of the time it's either around like experiences or making money, usually.
I have to apologize to our audience that this is how they're hearing that you were a crypto bro. You were an NFT.
Never
bro.
got into NFTs.
You were
a
god. You were a dot
from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Like the NFT is the birth of Mike Allen believing me about the economy of nothing. When it was like, Mike, come on, this shit ain't nothing.
I honestly, crypto.
But actually, I have to say,
none of them are right now. Honestly, other than I guess Bitcoin, right, and Ethereum, but that's it.
Yeah, and like
Bitcoin, I've never heard of it.
It's one of those things where but NFTs like getting traded with all this stuff, right? It's rotten apples ruining the barrel, right? The second you're like, hey, we're gonna trade this like it's nothing, and it's like, oh, next to my thing that's something, that doesn't value your thing, it devalues my thing.
Or something now. That's how much uncertainty the market is. Like Bitcoin and Ethereum are legit in the sense of crypto bros will always pump those up. So they know that. And now it's a hedge against currency devalue.
Diamond hands.
Like you can't even say crypto bros.
And girls?
What's Mike? You'd know the answer to this. What is Warren Buffett's take on crypto?
He doesn't like it, but you wouldn't either if you were worth like $1 trillion.
He owns it. He owns some though, right? Yeah.
We all saw that Silicon
I do
Valley
say,
bit too, Mike. We know.
Okay, but I just had a flash I had a flash of recognition for the story. I think what happens when the captain. Oh, sorry. Was it like really?
That's going to be an animation.
Was it really disruptive?
I don't even know what I'm going to type. The AI will not give me that prompt back.
Delicately
because it's too
top of it going back and forth like it's a glass of water, like he's trying to make
Uh,
with it.
Fondling?
It's like,
rimming
what
the
are you doing?
microphone
What
might be hard to
would
generate.
someone say fondling? Ooh. Well, I just saw like a fleck of dust and
Dude, it was
it's
so
like
just
still
like,
there, so I'm kind of annoyed. Well, here's my
You look like
question.
you were trying to play like a crystal glass, like those people that play
Yeah, like as
glasses with
instruments.
yeah,
water.
Yeah. No, so I'm
crazy
thinking
to
maybe this should be in the casino scene, a crystal glass player. But no, what I'm thinking actually is that I'm just having a flash of inspiration where one of the kids, maybe the jockish one, I don't know, gets or the like techie one gets into a rival mob of Mr. Green, like compared to Mr. Green. Mr. Green is like low key part of a mob, and then there's like a different mob group that the kid is just like, I don't know. In episode 20, they're like, "Wait, what's in your bag, kid?" Alex, and then
kid.
he's like, "Oh, I've just been like, someone asked me at like back at dispatch. I just like I get paid 100 credits, and just like move this thing from this planet to this planet. Like I just like it was just for me. I'm just using it to
Oh,
like." I don't know, start a college fund for myself. But then the casino planet is where these mobs meet, and they go to the casino planet because the captain is like, I have to shut the shit down. And then Mr. Green is betting independently, but then when it comes to the kid, like his like adopted whoever, niece, nephew, son, whatever, the like his own money is at stake, and he's like, fuck it, I'll destroy my cash for like this kid. It's like personal stakes, like I'm going against my own mob interests. There's another kid and I'm like helping them in some way. Is that the seeds of an idea?
and I'm like helping
I
them in some way.
what what's
It
interesting
sounds
every
so
time
unhinged.
like honestly when you said the first thing I thought for some when you were like maybe the kids get involved and I was like I couldn't help but thinking like the original Ninja Turtles movie when like the gang's just a bunch of like kids playing video games in that like
Yeah, totally.
sewer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like exactly. Like Mr. Green is part of like a gang, but there's like a fully digital gang that's just like kids, just like doing like gang shit, but just like in a virtual reality space. So then,
Like a digital
yeah,
gang.
exactly. So then, like Alex, like the techie kid, goes to some like a video game park. What do they call it? Like a just a I don't know, whatever.
An arcade
Yeah, okay.
video
Okay,
game
okay.
park.
So the kids go to an arcade and then
That's
the
what they're
nerdy
called in the
one.
economy of nothing, a video game park.
Okay, so the arcade, the kid is doing some arcade shit and then it's just like, oh, they're like maybe there's an assassination against this kid because they've taken it too far. So like the physical reality, maybe there's a bunch of invading gang people that come, but they're just like digitalized people.
Mike Allen
Yes.
God,
has
okay, I
has a
already got it.
comment, a
Okay, I already know what
concern.
happens. Right?
Okay.
All
Okay,
right.
great. Keep
Okay.
going. I love a yes and. If this is a yes and, great. If it's a no but, we'll hear you out.
Ryan don't
Okay.
like when they know
So
but.
I agree with everything you're saying. Not virtual reality. I think it's something where we are, the crew, Moonshine, Cheyenne shows up on this planet that is a digital, um, playground. Like it is what I believe a Mario Party slash Monopoly planet. And I sent this to Mike as a game we're gonna make, but I think it works better as an
Mm,
episode. So, so imagine a
okay.
Mario Party like style.
Mike, everything has to be two things. It's a game
Mm,
based off
Yeah.
an episode.
So yeah,
Anyway,
and
yeah.
but on this level to move forward, we have to get to the bot. We have to complete the game. Somebody has to win the game in our party, but then we go up against the computer players
Mm,
that are like also trying to kill us. But in like if we don't win the economy of nothing game is what it's going to be called, then uh like we die. And in this game, it's just like Mario Party, but it has Monopoly style features. So every space would be like mostly red, and that would be -3 credits for inflation. Some space like
okay.
every like two every other one or every two other one are blue, and that's a cost of living raise, which is +3. Every time you pass go,
Okay.
you owe a fun tax. So instead of getting money, you pay. So let's say like -10 credits.
Mm,
The whole thing is the game takes away money from you, and the person who comes closest to breaking even would um, basically win the game. But then the game is completely designed to bring in like macro headwinds, like, oh no, another COVID 2099 hit, and like that that makes all the cost of everything go up. So then you even lose like your dollar loses like 200% value and then it drops lower, right? So anytime you get close to making money, something
Yeah.
happens to drop it lower.
I
So the goal
love
is to have no money at the end, is to not be in debt. The person not in debt wins
Hmm.
the game.
I love this idea. Okay, like taking what you just said, how I'm envisioning it in my mind's eye is that they arrive at a planet and it's like literally just maybe it's flat, like it's not even a planet, it's just like a flat space and then that is just a monopoly board and then they have to start at go and then maybe every so often the game resets. I'm also thinking about the time skip where like we could come back and revisit this like game board and one of the kids is like the new dictator of this board, or they have like the most expensive squares and they have all of the squares and then it's like, come on, we need your help or something. But I do like this idea where it's like literally just a game board and it demonstrates the themes of the economy of nothing that they like experience for the first time, particularly how maybe like they have to sacrifice each other to make it further. I was thinking of it as like a Sweet 16, Final Four, Top 8, whatever that's called,
Yeah.
like a bracket where they have to keep advancing forward, and eventually they're just like, oh, like would you sacrifice your brother to like move forward in the game so that we can like
Yeah, and then you
win the
can have
game
cool
and move
banter. It's
on?
like, well, just one of us has to win. It's kind of Squid Game-ish too, right? Because like it's like just
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
us
yeah,
has to
yeah.
win. Like you're not dead until like the game is over.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
And like the bracket keeps narrowing, but eventually it's like, well, who will make the decision of who goes and like who will sacrifice themselves? I think that that's a really interesting
yeah,
concept. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So, Mike, you said Squid Game, and like obviously like that, like episode wise, that's straight up what I'm thinking. And we'll get back to the fact that obviously go to the podcast page right now if you're listening to this, and there's some sort of JavaScript version of this game there. So check it out.
Mhm.
Um, but
They've
I'm
also already seen the
thinking,
episodes, so
yeah. Oh, true. Sorry, I forgot that.
come
If
on.
you're watching this in a time machine or whatever, um, but story wise, like I really like this, and there's like really play. I'm thinking about episode 20, which is an episode that's not an episode. To break kayfabe once again, right? Like something like they narratively something, just some action with them and the corporation needs to happen before the final two episodes that take place at the dispatch and everything comes apart, and it needs to be some kind of like corporate thing that's going on. So originally I was like, oh, there's cargo on trains that they're trying to do something about, but they could get stuck in a corporate Squid Game. There's no like that works
yeah.
perfectly
Oh,
well here, right?
I
Like
know why.
there's
You
nothing
know, the
here,
Nothing
right? You know what I mean?
Corporation is hitting. You know, they're hitting some economic headwinds right now, where tariffs are being raised, and their stock price, due to the fact that it's harder now for us to bring back salvage, and now everything's more like they're having us do the more illegal jobs, and we're all like fucked up with it, and they're like, okay, well, if you don't want to do it that way, then we're just gonna fire by doing this Squid Game economy of nothing game to help keep the stock price high. So it's the same way, but they're just killing us too
Mm.
to help
And
free
I
up,
think
mouths to feed.
and this this could obvious like in what well, you're talking about like the things people learn. Some people need to finish, and like they need to learn. They need to work together to beat the game in the show or whatever. And I think this is a great moment for like maybe like a Cheyenne to finally like
Yes.
turn right. Maybe like something about the sacrifice of the game could get Cheyenne, because I would love for Cheyenne to be on board in the taking down of the Nothing Corporation or the taking over of the
Yeah.
Nothing Corporation, or how that structurally breaks down by the end of
Yeah.
this season. But like
Mhm.
there could be a thing they go back to Draconaria right before that, right? So we can settle some of these old problems we've established. And then this can be the thing that puts her over. Maybe one of the people like sacrifices themselves for her in the game so that she can win. And now
Intern.
like
Mm.
she like reckon with
An
the fact
unpaid
that they
intern.
Yeah, or so, one of these people that she hasn't been taking for granted or something, a little
Yeah.
cliche or whatever, but like, oh my gosh, I didn't think anything about these people and they were here doing
I'm
all this
still not
stuff for
gonna
me the
pay
whole
him,
time,
but it was nice that she did that.
Completely. No, I do think that that's like really interesting. And also, because I know we've talked about these planets like in a kind of, I don't want to say more abstract, but in a more like in a higher level, higher minded kind of way where we're thinking of, oh, the concept of a fantasy world. Draconaria is a planet that has dragons and magic and da da da. But like it's sort of interesting to dive down into a niche where an element of Americana is not like fantasy or fiction or like cowboys, but is like the game
Yeah.
Sorry or the game
Yeah.
Monopoly or like rat rate what like that one that like
Oh, the game of
Mousetrap.
life.
Mousetrap?
Yeah, Mousetrap. Like yeah, like the game of life. I think that that's kind of interesting if like this world was forged by a corporation that was like reinventing Americana in the aftermath of this war. And like cowboys are one thing, but they're like, "Oh, do you really want to see our main attraction? It's actually Monopoly." Like
Well, because bear in mind, cowboys are passe now, right? The cowboy planet, cowboys have gone out
mhm.
of
Yeah.
fashion,
Right, right,
right?
right.
Like, so like there has to be a popular culture of the time, and this isn't Futurama where I'm going to go, oh, the thing that's popular now, right? We need to come up with stuff.
So
Sorry,
I,
Mike, you got
I'm just
something.
adding context because I think it'd be important. So if this is a planet where this game is happening on, we land there as a crew, and we have to play this game in order to talk to the leaders to either take down the Nothing Corp or we need resources from the Nothing Corp, whatever it is, we have to beat the game. But there has to be a reason why we have to play the game, and I think the reason we have to play the game is because the 1% obviously like got to the top and they invested in like
Mhm.
defense. So it's like if you don't like if you try to like enter there by not playing the game, it's like electric invisible fences everywhere that like shock us. So like if we try to
Mm.
like cheat or something, like it's like no, you have to play it. You know?
Yeah.
I do. I I also had the idea. I love that too. We're all just spitballs, so I'm just going to throw ideas too,
Yeah,
right? Like,
totally.
to me, as you were saying that, I was like, oh man, what if this is like because at first I was like, oh, maybe it's just on like Planet Prime or something, because I was thinking of the corporate treasure. I was like, oh, what if this is the most like Star Trek
Okay.
episode we do? What if like they're just out there and they just get pulled to a planet and it's like, oh, was it a metaphor? Was this also Cheyenne could learn a lesson? Did this even
So
happen?
you
What
said
is
Star
this,
Trek.
right?
What about
Because it's
Twilight Zone? Is
Mm.
that more for what you're going for? Yeah.
Yeah, well, like a lot of Star Trek episodes are like they go to a planet and it's like there not a lot of, but like there's ones where like, oh, and there's just some weird guy that's playing a thing on you. You know what I mean? Because he wants to
Mm.
see how humans react to
I
stress or
think you could
something. You know
relate
what I
this
mean? Like
episode
that.
with like
Mm.
is like
Ew.
predetermined destiny real, right? And I think, or is like your personal legend real, right? And I like to think that it is, and I think that that's why it happens, right? Like,
Mm. So picture this. There's like a huge line outside of the GameStop because there's a new game releasing or there's a new album
man,
releasing or there's like
are
right
you an
there's like
A?
a huge line of
There's a
people.
Are
new
you a
Funko Pop
GMA?
out.
There's a new Okay, there's a new Funko Pop out, okay? And then there's a huge line outside of like a board game planet that's releasing, and then the captain and the crew get called into like someone was like holding their place in line for generations to enter this board game. And the line started like 1,000 years ago. But the like people have waited here, and they called
What
in the
a
captain because
thousand
he's the
years,
savior
a
of the universe.
thousand years.
So they gave
Yeah, since the year
Why are they in a
5560 or
line for a
whatever. Yeah,
55.
that's
Yeah,
thousand
fine.
okay.
years?
Oh no,
Okay,
wait,
because
55,060 or
but I
whatever.
think it goes to your point about like there's some kind of reward
Okay.
here where like Cheyenne appears because she was also like summoned, but or like as a champion essentially. They're like, oh, this is like it's a board game, but it's like oh whoever wins this
Squid
gets
Game, board game,
something.
but like yeah,
Yes,
it's like
exactly. It's
Monopoly.
like it's a Squid
Yeah.
Game, but people are lining up for the Squid Game because the reward is so vast that they're like, oh, actually, we are just like a people who were sent from some like remote desert planet. Like, Captain, please come and like like not fight because maybe like not everyone has to die, but like play sorry or play Monopoly on behalf of our people. And then maybe this is also like a way that Cheyenne is like stepping in as like the corporate emissary, or maybe the corporation has like every other team at their disposal. And this seems like fertile ground for her being like, what the fuck is going on? And like if people have to be sacrificed.
All right, so I love everything you said. The only thing I want to back up is like what that just created for me for the episode is like, what's the reason for this adventure, right? Well, like, why does it happen? And I think it happens because we get stuck in a bind where, let's say we have to say we have to save the Nothing Corporation to like so they can meet their profits, but we also still want to take them down for whatever reason. Mike, I don't know if you got something there on that, but the point is, like Mr. Green says to the cabinet, like, we could always go to, the video game, the Squid Game planet, and I think we could win the prize. I've said that for years. And you're like, we're not going to do that. Well, you're like, you die if you don't win. And it's like, but who? And I'm like, you got me with you, dude. I guarantee you we can win this.
Not to like go like, well, how could the captain be the hero here? But like there could be something to like if this is like the one place where like it's not fair, but the rules that aren't fair are the official rules.
Yeah.
Right. Which would make it unique to like other places where they like claim fair rules that aren't fair, right? Where the captain's like, well, if you just tell me straight up what the unfairness of this is, how could I lose?
But how do you show
right?
fair? How do you show fair in a video game?
Mm-hmm.
So give me some aspects. What would it be into it? See, in my opinion.
Well, like theoretically, if this is run by some sort of like system or something, right?
Yeah.
Like you would have that moment in like a Saw thing where someone would be like, well, I'm not going to do it because it won't happen, right? And then they get like electrocuted. But you could, once you derive that scenario, you can juxtapose it. You can juxtapose it to like another moment where like you could make a bad play that's like within the rules, right? And I don't know the rules of this game quite enough, but like there are times in football where like kind of maybe just don't score a touchdown right now.
So, okay.
Despite that they're telling you to score touchdowns every chance you get, right?
So the reason I said Mario Party is because every character in Mario Party has a personal
yes.
And I think
exactly.
The captain's dice block would just be like zeros across the board. And we're just like,
yes,
what are you doing? And it's like, just trust me. Boom.
yes.
Yeah. If you don't land on any spaces, you can't lose
you
any.
just stay on the I think what happens is the captain, everybody's playing the game, but the captain just keeps hitting his zeros on his dice block. And because he knows the game's unwinnable, right?
I also like the idea that if it's a game like that, like the main character is the worst character in the like he would be the least fun character to play. Like maybe he would be like you'd win the game every time, but you wouldn't get to like move on the board or play any of the mini games. You'd just be sitting.
Well, but that makes total sense. If we take Monopoly as the game, I mean, I think that if we
it's
have
whatever
the game
we want it to be. Let me be clear. I don't want to pick one game. I want aspects from the best games. I love the dice. Don't roll your eyes at me, Ryan. Don't you?
When it is
back down. Put them down
when it is visualized, it is a Mario Party board.
It is a Mario Party board,
like,
but with like capitalistic tricks like Monopoly. It's gonna have
Wow, Mike. I mean,
whatever aspect of a video game or a board game you like
capital
playing can be in this.
ism,
but as long as it relates to like how.
Okay. But the reason I said Monopoly was I think that Monopoly, I feel like if we have it as a reference to Americana, I'm thinking of this as the penultimate episode, or like the episode before the shit hits the fan.
But it's got to teach Cheyenne that this is like it teaches her everything about the economy.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I think.
But I think when every
producer
player,
note, if I could, just real quick.
Okay.
I think we shouldn't. I think what we first should do is like talk about the game and then where it'll fit, because like it can fit anywhere. So I think like like thinking about how it's going to connect characters right now, because I can come up with a reason that like, hey, instead of him doing the Roman gladiator pits in Spartacus, he could do a Squid Game. Like it's the same concept, right?
That's
so
true.
like there are other there's so like, but your thing about like it reflecting Americana and stuff is spot on about that. Just like I don't know that we have to like know who it affects quite yet.
Well, I'm just thinking that I agree. It doesn't have to be the penultimate, but I'm thinking of like what coalesces.
I'm not against it being the penultimate episode.
Well, I do think that there
Die
needs
Hard
to be some kind
Die
of...
Hard in an office building is the
penultimate juxtaposition, and he lost his fucking mind, and he's like, time to juxtapose. Freaking everything.
I was just trying to have a little fun, Mike. I'm just
we were
vibing.
Like, so if I could describe that sesh of talking, bro,
that sesh was so good until I said
juxtapose. It was like butter, baby. Just boom, boom,
I know.
Boom.
And then as soon as I talk, I ruin it.
Then you served up
I
a juxtaposition, and the thing went fucking crazy.
I hate words that
I
are
wanted to
longer
juxtapose a
than
well-flowing
5
podcast
letters.
with a poorly flowing podcast.
Oh my god. No, so I think that like the interesting thing to me is I think that the game that we choose should be pretty one-to-one for something in our real world. Like it should be Mousetrap, or it should be Sorry, or it should be The Game of Life. It should be chess. Like I think it should be something that's like so obvious to the audience, because our audience will exist in our current world, right? So I think that like if we have Monopoly, I think it's like a perfect metaphor and reality of capitalism. But also I like the idea of the Monopoly plus Mario Party block, where like the captain has already been to this game. And the captain already knows that his block has been fucked with, and he just has like a 0, 0, 0, 0 block.
No,
and then like the other characters.
No.
Okay.
Why
so I'm going to proceed. So I think.
Listen, you have to understand that Mike. It's no matter what you want to do with this, Mike has to come out as the smarter individual. And that's just what it is. So if we write it that way, then the episodes get done. I don't want to fight on everything. In this universe, he can be the smartest guy because he does the most work on it. So let's just get that through our head. And listen, the way I described that episode earlier was perfect.
At all.
With hitting the zeros, because that's his dice block. I think it could be whatever it wants to be. And but I know where you were going, Ryan. I know where you're going.
Where was I going?
I
haven't said anything contrary to that at all.
Story. I already knew where it was going.
Well, okay. So I do think, to Mike Allen's credit, he completely mischaracterized me, and so no. But I do think that the captain's block should be 0. I think that the corporation needs to win. Ultimately,
I do see that.
I think like even if.
Yeah.
Like, even if the captain wins this game, I think, like, he could win the game, or anyone, like, Cheyenne could win the game, an intern could win the game, the kids could win the game, Mr. Green can win the game.
That's what he wanted to do.
Anyone can win the game. It doesn't matter. I don't think Cheyenne should win. I think that it should be someone kind of unexpected, or, like, by which I mean the captain could also win the game, like, unexpectedly to all the players. Because,
I already know.
Well, but I also think that, like, if the captain...
Why would the captain want to win?
No.
But I think
every care about this game,
because that's what you do. You threw in, not that I want to make the captain. You said, not that I want to make the captain the hero of the story. Mike, every episode we talk about, the captain has to be the hero of the story. I've just accepted that as the narrative.
That is true.
So let's go with it.
Yeah, works. But like you guys are like I'm listening to this story and I'm like, I don't understand why this game like I'm here for the game. I think the game's cool and stuff, but like we haven't developed a story yet to be like, well, they should play this game.
Well, but I think that like the captain gets a distress call. In my opinion, there's like 64 people waiting. There's 64 ships waiting to enter this game board planet, and some of them have been waiting for 1,000 years. They're like, my grandfather's grandfather's grandfather has been there, and they call the captain and they say, please, will you be our champion in this game? Because if you win, we get the MacGuffin. We get the deed to a planet that has minerals or whatever the fuck. It doesn't really matter in my opinion. Like, I mean, whatever it is, yeah, exactly. Like, whatever it is what the reward is. And I think the captain responds to the distress call and he wins, or like the kid wins, whoever wins. I think they all like do their best to try to win this game. And Cheyenne might be like, I'm here because I'm representing like one of my clients for the corporation, and that's why I'm trying to win this game. They're all trying to like win this game for their own reasons, and the captain's like, I'm doing it to help out this family that just like needs food.
That's
And then
stupid.
when
That's
they like the
dumb. I
captain, if
don't
the
like
captain
it.
wins, but no, but I think if the captain wins, that like they need to be like, thank you so much, and then he needs to see them like handing over the deed to this planet to the Nothing Corporation for the next 50 years, and he's like, I did this for you. And they were like, well, we were doing it for the corporation because they
I
paid
don't
us twice
understand.
as
They've
much.
been waiting in line for this planet for 1,000
Yep,
years,
yep,
but
yep.
then they get a distress call.
Mhm.
But only 64 people have been in line for 1,000
Yep,
years.
okay,
They
64
get a
people, yeah.
distress call.
Or you
They
can
get the
buy your
cut
way
in,
into the line.
they get the cut in line,
Yeah.
and
Because
then
they're the champions
whoever
of the
wins this
Mhm.
contest gets that planet for 50 years.
Yeah, let's
So
say.
the captain is trying to win that
To
planet
help the family.
for the people, the family of that
Mhm.
planet.
Yep, yep.
One family on that
Yeah.
planet wants
The
to own
captain
it.
Well,
wouldn't
because
do that.
maybe they're like, oh, this is our home planet. They're like, this is our home planet. We send people up, so we've been able to like populate this line nonstop. And the captain wants to do something that's like good, but the planet has resources that all these competing factions are coming for, and he's thinking, I can fuck
I got a
over the
better, I
nothing
got a
nothing
better idea. I got a
corporation.
better idea. Scrap all that.
I
Just do
just,
this.
I don't.
Do this. Go back to the
Okay,
video
okay,
game, virtual video
okay.
game world. It's a Squid Game video game. It's a quick way to win $1 million, but no
Sure.
one's ever done it. Right? Then we just join that, and
Okay.
that's why we need the money for the Nothing Corporation because we're not hitting our revenue, we're not hitting our quota, and Mr. Green convinces you to do it. Okay, that's really all it has to be, and then you get to become the winner because
Okay.
you you're the captain. You realize by not playing the game, you win the game, and then Ryan Cheyenne gets to
So
learn
this is
that because it mirrors the economy of Nothing Universe so much now that really the game's not winnable in her own universe because it's now all been exposed,
Well,
and then it comes back.
I think that this
Yeah.
could be a great opportunity to show Mr. Green's ability to manipulate the captain, right? In that like this is not something the captain would want to do, but I think like Mr. Green in the way that the captain manipulates Mr. Green to try and convince him that like they can make money off of doing the right thing. Mr. Green's there being like, "Captain, we're going to win this game. It's not going to hurt anyone. Actually, if other people win the game, it'll be bad. We'll get the money. We won't have to do another job for the Nothing Corporation that you didn't want to do anyway. There's really no reason for us not to do it. You could probably win it by not even
Yes,
trying." Like, you
yes.
know what I mean? Like, and
I
like
love that.
that
Go
kind
with
of
that.
thing, right?
Whatever you
Like,
said, love that. That's a better version of what I said. Yeah.
okay, wait. I have a version of that, but it's a little different. How about there's 19 episodes of the captain losing them money, right? And then like Mr. Green always argues about it. He always bitches about it. He's always like, this is gonna come back to bite us in the ass, like nonstop. And then this episode is he's like, Mr. Green is like, this has bit us in the ass. This is the only thing we can do. Remember all those times that I said that you were like fucking us over in the econ department? Like the way that we get this is winning the Squid Game, and I knew you were gonna always do the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Like, I knew you were always gonna like not get us money. I knew you were gonna do that. And at the end of version of this, he's like, "Well, Captain, Savior of the Universe, time to fucking be the HBIC.
Yeah, I love it.
Like
I
time to
love
win
it.
this game. I've like entered us into this game, and not only have I entered us, but like I've entered your nephews. Maybe that's going too far. But like I've entered like
We
the
had to be a crew. It's like
into
Family
this
Feud.
game.
You have to have a crew to do it.
Yeah, so like everyone enters it, and the thing I want to say about the block,
like having allies in Mario Party.
well, the thing I want to say about the Mario Party and the block is I'm thinking of Monopoly, and like everyone enters the game of Monopoly, and there's 63 other people. I'm thinking of the 64 like bracket. There's 63 other people who like storm the game and keep playing and like are fighting the whole time. But the captain is just at go hitting 0 on his like useless block, or maybe it's like timed like a whammy, and you can like choose to hit a 0, and then he's like, I've been racking up do not pass go like pass goes and collect 200 every time, so he's like the winner at the end of this game by like not participating.
I have a very simple solution for how the captain wins. Like if we need just like a simple one, and there can be a lot of stuff.
I just gave the perfect one. He won by not playing the game, Mike. Isn't that the point of the economy?
It's like just taking like
it's
a turn number, right? Like the game's a turn, like Mario Party's turn numbers, right?
well, you hit a block
like,
and you move a certain number of squares.
So while everyone else is trying to figure out how to use their turn, the captain just using his turns, and he just uses all his turns and he has
His
0,
special
right? It was
dice
that
block is all
simple, as
0.
all these other people are distracted by the excitement of the game and all these other things going on. The captain looked at the rules of the game and said, "So I need to hit this block 50 times and I win, right?"
Oh my God. No,
And
Mike,
everyone
Mike,
else
Mike,
is
Mike. I
running
have to
around.
stop you because I feel like I literally have the answer. That's exactly what happens. The captain hits his block and he doesn't move at all. And the game is set up by the Nothing Corporation, wherein, like Monopoly, you can only lose money by playing because that's also capitalism if you're not
Yes, you're
the rich and
getting
wealthy.
it.
So, like, oh my God. So then literally the captain is just at
It's
the
a bit of
beginning.
Americana, Ryan.
The captain is just at the beginning punching his 0 block, which does have to be timed, or he can just have like the shittiest block.
It's
And
just
it's like
turn-based.
it's just a game of not
It's just-
losing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
if the
It's and it's like
captain's
not
allowed to do-
losing
Yes,
money.
exactly.
But like
If
the
the
rest of
captain's
them are
allowed to
trying
do
to
whatever he
keep
wants,
whatever.
the captain finishes his turn and then
Yes.
goes and follows around the board and tries to help other people.
And
Maybe that's too.
And I think
too
what
much
happens is,
captaining
like you
for
say,
it,
No,
but-
I think
bracket,
that's too much. I think that's too
but
much.
whenever like you hit a point where it's just like you like maybe die in a mini game, then they send you to jail,
Yeah, yeah.
right? Or like whatever this version of
Yes.
jail is. And I think it'd be really
I think that
funny
they
something
like
in
everyone is
jail.
tethered, and then everyone is tethered, and they fire you off into space, and then you need to like have like a breathing apparatus, or you die.
Dark.
Is that fucked up? I think
No,
it's okay.
I mean, I
though.
think
it's
you're,
okay.
but like, if this is like, but like, this is Squid
Yeah.
Game-esque, right? I mean,
Exactly. Exactly.
if we, I think they should at least seem to be killed in like
Yeah.
horrifying ways,
Mhm.
and like we can always Charlie in the Chocolate Factory it and be like, no,
Yeah, just
actually
have
they
me, like,
didn't,
you
or
get
whatever.
killed,
You
like,
know what I mean?
and then you virtually go have to like be I don't know, like help old people at a retirement home jail. I don't know, something really funny and stupid that just like would, or you know, I don't know, economy of nothing adjacent. What's something that's torturous that we all hate doing in the economy of nothing? Oh yeah, the jail is you have to do your taxes. It's never ending.
But isn't this such a good? But isn't this actually such fertile ground for a? It doesn't have to be the penultimate episode, but I'm thinking like, imagine if there was a team of just like Cheyenne's orphaned, like quasi.
I don't think Cheyenne will play the game. I think
like,
she make
like,
her unpaid interns play the game.
Well, in my version, I would think that she would like enter the game herself, but maybe it would be too dangerous. But or she could look on from afar. But I think that like you could bring back other people from the season, where like it's kind of horrifying because there's like everyone's understanding is that there's only a certain number of winners and like the losers will die. So there's like because in my mind's eye, this is like a horror episode of the corporation imposing a kind of like brutal capitalist dystopia on everyone, right? Like in this, that's like the point of the Squid Game is like the people who do not win the money. If you don't hit the jackpot, you are dead. And like it doesn't need to be literal death, but it could be like there were people from Draconia, like Friends, or like there's like the robot from the whatever planet or the casino planet. It's like, oh, there's like all of these reoccurring characters from the season, and like there's this kind of understanding that they're like getting like eliminated.
Yeah, so I look at it as a virtual death to jail by the Nothing Corporation. They're the ones that do
yeah. It could be
but
virtual.
The virtual death means that you lose your job because they're trying to keep their stock price high. That's where this all like.
Can the game be called
annual
reviews?
And it's like okay, well, you know, we gotta like cut jobs so that we can seem like we're still growing, right?
Yeah, so they don't look at your performance over the year. They're just like, yeah, the people that do the worst at this game
just lose their job.
lose their job.
But like we can still have deaths in the game that are virtual deaths that send you to jail.
But isn't
and where you are in the leaderboard is where the turn order you get.
You and your
whatever.
crew
So,
would be on
unfair
there.
that way and stuff. Yeah.
Is this the preview episode to the what's it called? The station? The hub? Is this the preview episode to the hub?
Dispatch?
Yeah, the dispatch. Is this the episode before the dispatch where they have like it's like annual review day and all the people from the dispatch come and play this game, and then like if you get eliminated, you're like fired and you're like not dead, but like you're basically dead because you don't have income.
If it's the annual review, the timeline of this show is they start like the annual review, like last annual review, like just happened or something,
Oh my
right?
god, that creates
And that,
so much
it,
pressure
it,
on the
and
captain
that's why
to get the
the
nephews
cap,
Yeah.
up.
yeah. And that's why but in Mr. Green's like, no, this is, and the captain's like, it's not that serious. And of course, then at this final episode, the captain's like, yeah, I knew this is what I did last
Yeah.
year. It's cool. Like, you know,
Oh my god, but that's so true because like the nephews will be freaking out and doing their best, and the captain is like, "Wait, you don't have to," and then they just like take
Yeah,
off,
everybody panics. The point is
and
everybody panics.
and
Nobody
they like
listens
yeah.
to
go on this
reason.
The
race.
captain
Yeah.
keeps a cool head. That's his
But
superpower.
also, but no, but like the thing is, the captain has to not participate, in my
And he
opinion.
does.
Like, I think that's what I like about the
Yeah.
block is that he
No,
like
no, the Nothing
doesn't
Corporation,
participate.
they're told that every employee has to participate. Does the exposition penguin participate?
Right.
Probably not, right? But like
Yeah, well,
they're
some
told
people
that,
are
that the
doing the
managers did their
reviews.
annual review
Yeah,
earlier.
exactly. Some people are doing the reviews, and maybe that's what Cheyenne is seeing too. She's like,
Yeah,
she's
Cheyenne
immune
would,
from
I
the
feel like
review.
Cheyenne would be watching people get reviewed, and maybe for the first time, because she spent time with the captain and his rangers,
Yes,
all of a
yes.
sudden she started having personal connections with rangers like Christina and Monica. And all of a sudden, for the first time, she's watching the annual review of the people under her and going, oh, these are real people whose real lives are going to be affected by this thing I think's a game.
Christina and Monica. That sounds like women.
They're two of the rangers
what is this show
on the Sun.
about? You're including
Well,
women
it's a
now?
little slice of Americana. Just kidding. It's set in the distant future. It's not about anything.
No.
Uh,
I think that idea is exactly right, and I think that. Well, I was gonna say that she would grow attached to like the nephews, but maybe she like grows attached to her own
Yes,
crew via the
she would.
nephews
Her
because she like
orphanage of
has a
slave
competition.
labor. Yeah, she would.
Yeah, that's true. She
at
does
some
have.
point, she has to like understand that,
She
right?
is
To
a
be
bit
a
of a
character, right? Like to
juxtaposition.
have an arc, as one might say, right?
I don't know that word. But I do think that she juxtaposes well in this moment. That makes sense. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, no, I
This
really
is such a good penultimate episode idea. And then in the ultimate episode, they what? Overthrow the corporation? I don't know. We'll have to
well,
figure
like
that out.
I know that like just before we get there, like, and maybe this was like a hard hit to like stop to what we're doing. Like, Mike, could you read the rules again? Is
Yeah,
that crazy? Is that a
yeah. I'll read the
crazy
rules
request?
again.
Read the rules of
Now keep
what?
in mind,
Of the
this.
game? I just based now that we've talked so much more about it, I just kind of
All
want
right,
to
I'm
hear
just
the
gonna read
original
them
pitch
as I
again,
wrote them.
right?
Okay.
Is that
So, all right.
yeah, no, you don't have, yeah,
I
it's fine. Yeah,
texted
it's
Mike
cool as
Don't
hell.
earlier on a walk, and I said, "I know the economy of nothing game we're going to make. It's Mario Party mixed with Monopoly. The winner is the one that comes closest to breaking even. All spaces are red instead of blue, like in Mario Party. So, and each space would mean
Yes.
-3 inflation. Some place spaces are blue, which is a cost of living raise +3. Also, every time you pass go, you own a fun tax for even playing the game, which can be, -5. Which what was the next step? Which means you have to pay or give it out back. But you can either lose 5 coins, or if you get like an item in the game to help you, you can barter an item back. Lucky spaces are Mr. Green's promotion space, but only 2 or 3 are on a map. They give you +10. Nothing Corp is like the Bowser, so whatever that would be. Maybe it's just like a giant skyscraper, Nothing Corp monster or something. And it just shows up on those spaces to mess with you. Item shops run on IOUs and are interest based on dice roll. So by the end of the game, however many spaces you've gone based off the dice roll, like so every 3 spaces you get charged a percent, and that's what you owe back by the end, right?
So
It's
your interest is
compounding per
compounding per
turn.
roll.
And your interest rate is based off
Oh my
what you
god.
dice roll. So you roll a 6. So every time you do a 6, now you're like 18. Now you're like 27, like really bad, right? Um, so stars of getting the game are like planets that you get for resources to salvage, and they're anywhere random from 10 to 100, right? Um, but randomly throughout the game, if any player within the last 2 turns has positive credits in their account, the game creates random macroeconomic headwinds to strip them back to 0 and below. So it'd be like, oh, we have a supply chain shortage now. Now, now everybody's money is worth less because we can't sell as much product, which means inflation will go up. Like
Yeah, so I think, like, for this to, I think that most of that, like, works with what we're talking about. I think that, like, as a game that, like, you create
yeah,
for people to play and as, like, also as a metaphor for, like, capitalism or whatever, like, there needs to be this promise, right? That you just can't, like, you need to get 100 or 200 or whatever for crossing go. Like, there
yeah,
has to be things, but it just has to be like, yeah, but, like, every time you cross go, the percentage is going up, but you're only getting
yeah.
200 every time as the amount you're being charged. You know what I mean? So like there has to be like there to like the Mr. Green spaces. There like have to be some of those. Like people like, oh, if you do
Yeah,
something right, right? Or maybe it's like you get like the mini game part of it or something. If it is a Mario Party, the mini game part of it like has a reward. So there's some idea of like if you do good enough
which
at
is
the
the
mini
work, right?
games, you can build enough stuff to survive your next round around the board. But you just can't do good enough at the mini games because there's 64 other people trying to grab those coins too, right?
Yeah,
How good at
and the
grabbing
the
those
mini game
coins can
could
you
be
be,
like,
right?
let's say
Yeah.
you land on a space, and then it's like, oh, um, it could be like, the the printer needs more ink, right? And it's the first one of us that can put our printed cartridge that's like on a long I don't know, a minefield. On we have to go grab the ink and then run across the other side and then put it. Whoever can do it the fastest, you know, sticks around, right? Like it could be like
Yeah.
office-based games, but in a deadly environment to do it.
And I think what's cool about that is I think that like especially some of like like that allows for character interactions
Yeah,
in the show, right? And would make
yeah,
fun gameplay also too. But right, in the show, then when we're talking about the dynamics between the Rangers and the captain, well, if he's just staying at go, then that makes the flow of the show like they interact every turn or something. Whereas like or every around the board. Whereas every turn they would be like, "Oh, the captain hits his block, waits 5
see,
minutes, and then
that's
gets
what.
pulled into a mini game," right? And he's like, "Hey, Rangers, calm down. You don't have
See,
to
I
care
look
so
at
much
the
about But he only gets like 30 seconds to try and tell him
See, I
every
look
time,
at
and then
the
he's
I look
pulled
at the
back,
board
right?
as like it's Mario Party-esque as it like it weaves and goes, but it's just a one way to the top. There's no go. Even though like for the episode's sake, I know
Oh, so
yeah.
it is like so if we're talking the corporate, whatever I said, the corporate, high-speed corporate chase, this is a
Yeah,
cha
and I
this is a
think
race. This is a
Game of
rat
Life
race.
works
This is
better
like,
to for
okay,
that analogy, like in the way that game is played, because it's all you got to
okay.
get to the end, right? And there's things that mess you up along the way, like oh you owe like taxes, or then you get like a kid, and it's like you get plus 2 grand, like stuff like elements from that as far as like how do you get to the top, because I don't think the game with the captain works if everybody has to see him pass and go, right? Like it's just the captain just sits at the bottom, and every now and then it cuts to them, and you just say stuff, and it's like, oh man, I'm gonna miss lunch because of this, like, and that's kind of, yeah,
Oh, so the game ends when the first person it
right, but
hits the finish
nobody
line,
ever,
but the winner is the person with the most money
yes,
when it ends.
but you can die along the
So
way,
there's a
which is
so
getting
there would
fired,
there could
right?
theoretically so this allows for like people to think their strategy as they try and like slow themselves down at the end because they don't have enough money to like finish the race and win. So they want to roll lower numbers because they're not trying to
Yeah.
get to the end. But like there's
And,
no
and
point in playing this game,
yeah,
but it
and
has
I think
mechanics, which is fun. It's the
yeah, and I
economy of
think
nothing
you could
game.
get to like
Hey
a
Ryan, I
certain
see your
point where
face.
it's
What's
like
up,
you're
buddy?
so far in debt, like your options are like go to jail, like for not paying anything, or then like kill
Return
yourself.
to debtor's prison. It's like, well, I can't finish right now anyway, right? So I should go to prison for a
Yeah.
couple of years or whatever.
Okay, so I have a problem.
Of course.
The first problem, the my only problem is that Mike has to figure out a way to animate my face to demonstrate that Mike Allen is a
Oh
genius.
my god! Thank you,
So
Ryan.
that
Oh, thank you.
so that's
Uh-oh.
like
Uh-oh, two geniuses on the
so it's
podcast.
like there's two geniuses and one idiot in a vest, and I don't know what's happening here. So I know I'm not in a
The best
vest
is
for
going off.
sure. So this is so this is so correct. This is so fucking correct. It's so fucking smart. Okay. There's so many things to say. Okay, first of all, I think that everyone how do you think of this idea? I think everyone starts with, like, an object, like an orb, like a star, maybe like a Mario Party star, and the point is to, like, take it to the end, but you can also, like, compete for other people's resource in some way, and, like, the point of the game, I was thinking, would be to, like, get your star to the end, but then the company would take a part of it.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Like, I like the idea that, like, the company is, like, taxing you, so, like, no matter what, like, the captain wins by not playing in this game because he, like, doesn't give up his star at the, like, or whatever the, like, I mean, in Mario Party gives stars, but, like, the resource at the end is, like, the person who races to the end and, like, collects the most orbs or whatever, the company, the Nothing Corporation is like, okay, great, we're taking 95% of this. Because it's, like, your time and your effort and your energy. So I like the idea that, like, there's a no-win scenario in this year-end review. But also, I've completely realized that what happens is Cheyenne's unpaid interns are populated by these rejects. So I think what happens is, like, all of the managers are, like, swarming around the game board, and when you lose, you get ejected off into space, and the only people, like, a manager can choose to, like, save you, aka to, like, the manager will do the work of taking you in and, like, raising you up again next year because you've been fired. But, like, all of these rejects, Cheyenne is like, I'll let you into my crew, but you're getting paid nothing.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I love that.
And then she's like, and the promise is I'll train you to beat the game next time, or to, like, survive until the end of this game. Yeah. And that's how they advance within the corporation. And, like, the captain refuses to play.
And she's like, I'm paying them with experience.
Yes, exactly. Because the experience is, like, at the end when they survive and they can, like, do something at the end. I don't know what happens to these people who are still alive on the game board at the end, but they, like, move on.
They get to work next year.
Yeah.
They don't get blasted into space.
Oh my God.
Keep the stock price high.
I'm, like, getting a headache from how smart this is as an idea. Yeah, I love that idea. And I do like that it's, like, a corporate, I think it has to be corporate based.
Yeah.
Now that we're talking about it so much.
Yeah, it can't be any of that. Yeah, it's got to be part. It's got to be the penultimate thing.
It has to be the yearly review.
Like,
yeah. And I think that, like, the winner can't really be the winner. Is my only thought. I don't know where Mr. Green or the kids play. I think the kids are engaged.
Mr. Green gets up there and breaks even. Like, he wins by, like, Mr. Green wins in the same way that the captain wins. The captain wins by not participating, like, because he knows it's not worth it. And then Mr. Green wins by, he knows all the ways to game the system, and he gets up there and he's got exactly 0.
Well, because he knows that they're going to take, like,
Mr. Green
X% of his stuff,
Mr.
right?
Green knows the captain's going to win it. So Mr. Green,
That's a good point.
And Mr. Green knows by the end you lose your star or whatever. So Mr. Green's like, no, I'm just trying to get, like, some of the mushrooms and hold on to them because I can sell them after the game for a lot of money or something like that, right? He's just trying to, because he's always hoarding items. So he's just trying to get some items out of the game to sell them or something like that. Right. Like, he's trying to, like, get to the shops because those are exclusive shops, baby. You can't go to those shops year round. Those are limited time shops, man. That's limited merch.
Oh my God. You're right.
Mr.
And
Green
I think
needs merch.
Well, I think
that's a good point because remember, the economy of nothing, not only is there credits, but it's also a barter system. So I think one of the ways to entice the employees to even play the game is that you have the chance to purchase really exclusive, high-value items.
The first 100 people get the new Nothing hoodie.
Limited edition.
Right. Bobblehead night.
Made in China.
But, like, I do think there has to be some element in this game, no, where, like, people start with a certain allocation. You know, like, they have an orb, or they have, like, a star, or they have a badge, or they have, like, an employee card or something that they have to, like, take to the finish line. You know, because I feel like there has to be something where, like, in my mind's eye, Mr. Green is in, like, a mini game with 4 other people, and he's like, thank you, I'll be taking these, and he just, like, picks them up from everyone, and then, like, they all get ejected off, and he's just like, good luck, I hope Cheyenne picks you up or something.
Whatever.
You know what I mean? But, like, I think that he, like, wants to, like, gather these resources, even though if they're, like, fake, because they're, like tokens that you can turn into Mississippi for, like, a reward, like a slot, like a Dave and Buster's.
Yeah. No, I would do, like,
is that fucked up?
No, I mean, you gotta say
no, that sounds like a great corporate reward.
Yeah.
Dave and Buster's tickets.
Well, I think that they're like everyone has an allocation card or some like just a
I
token.
think it's like if you come,
like in Hunter x
yeah, if you
Hunter.
grab like flag football, like everybody's got like something hanging on them.
Yes, like a
Yeah,
tag.
that
Yeah, a flag.
yeah,
Well, because you have to like finish with a certain number. So maybe if you take the flag football like analogy, it's like okay, everyone starts with one flag, and to get to the end, you have to have 10. Or like you have to get to the end and have 10, or you have to like acquire things from the other people around you. So like
oh, wait.
that is
I think what it
capitalism
works is like
too.
in a mini game, right? So it's like you're not supposed to take the other people's tags off. Like what you're supposed to do is
Yeah.
make it through the game
Work
or work
together,
together, but like
collaborate.
there's
Yeah.
things trying to take it off. But Mr. Green just like looks at his teammates and he's like, "Toot, toot, toot." And it's like they're not really dead; they're in jail. maybe
Yes,
maybe it's like
exactly.
I wouldn't do that all the time. I think that happens on one level with like
No, but he can rely
Airport or
on
something,
Cheyenne
you
to
know?
collect the people for free
Yeah,
labor.
but is there anyone we don't like in Dispatch that like you want me to take care of, Captain? Because that's when I would do it.
I mean,
I
listen,
don't think that she rescues everyone
the
for the
captain
record.
doesn't like red hooks, obviously, because of what a
Yeah,
basic bitch he is, right? But like that's just a personal thing the captain just doesn't like. I mean, the guy we don't like is a
yeah.
Richard
But
Rider,
I think
right?
maybe that's where we create like the
Like
season two
in the
enemy,
Rough
right? It's
Riders.
like I do that as a favor to
Mm.
you, and you you don't know that I do it, but you just know that he's fired, and you're like, oh man, great. I have to deal with that guy, and then he
Mm.
shows up later. Just a thought.
I like that idea. I think there should be like a rival captain that's not Cheyenne, like an asshole version, like the bad version of them, like a competitive bad version.
Yeah, so like right now,
Hmm.
like the name of that character is
Ryder, Richard Ryder,
Richard Rider. So and his crew's called the Rough
of
Riders.
course.
He has two rangers, Blade and Laser. They're the black and white ranger. He's trying to be very cool. Like he's like, what would a corporation think a captain should be, or something? You know what I mean? Like, um, and they're called the
Mm.
Rough Riders. Like it's the most
So
like
yeah, so
basic
me and
stuff.
you hate
Like
them, and not like hate them. We just like think they're annoying and too cocky.
well, no. So I
Okay,
think we hate them. Red Hooks is the guy who were like, this
okay,
guy stinks. Like he just his name's Red Hook. The name of his crew's the Red Hooks. Like it's just lame. He's just a lame dude. And I guess he's fine and he kind of does the job. But like if a job needs doing, you're not
yeah,
calling this
yeah,
guy. You know what I mean?
Mm.
okay, yeah. So we,
This seems like such an interesting episode because I think it can say something about the captain and about like not participating. But I do think that there has to be like if the captain already knows what's good, I think that there should be a threat to Mr. Green and Cheyenne, and more importantly, the kids or the
So what I think can be going on for the captain, and I will
yeah,
think about this,
yeah,
but as the penultimate episode, like that inherently means that like despite the fact that like Mr. Green is convinced them they need to do this and it's the annual
yeah,
review and all this stuff, like the captain is going to just have other stuff going on. Like because the next episode, I guess this isn't the pen. This is the whatever the one before the penultimate is, right? But like the next
uh-huh,
episode is when stuff really goes down at the Nothing Corporation, and they find out that like the dark orbit's working there and stuff, right? And then
yeah.
like so like
That's like the finale. Yeah.
so I think there's a way that like this episode can be like a Captain Light episode,
so
right?
Yeah.
Like there's something to be said for the captain going like sometimes not doing something is the right decision as long as it's an affirmative decision to not do something. You can't be avoiding action. You have to be
so
actively
Mm.
I
choosing
personally
not to do it.
think
Yep.
that w- listen, I definitely think the Rangers of our the Moonshine Crew should be doing it. However, I think because given your veteran hero status, like the company's already told they're not going to get fired, right? But like, but they don't. You also be like, but you know, they could use some training on how the whole thing works, right? And Mr. Green,
Well, we could just
yeah,
Hunger Games it up and it's just like the
yeah,
Rangers and stuff, right? Like, do you know what I mean? Like the captain could not have to compete
yeah.
because
I
he's a
think that's fine
captain,
if you want to be a
theoretically,
manager up
right?
there,
Like,
and Mr.
because like,
Green's in the game.
oh, I I don't love the idea of the captain being, but like
Yeah.
theoretically, right? It's like one of those things where everything's so micromanaged that like, well,
You're
technically he's a
you're the
manager of the
project manager
moonshine
of us.
crew,
So
right?
like
Like
I go
something like
down
that.
there to be like to not only like get us some more salvage, right? But also to protect the Rangers. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, and they could have like, because like the captain, like last year, probably the captain did his thing or whatever, right? And now Green's got to be there, and he's like, "Oh, you could just do that." And Green's like, "No, no, no, you don't." So like, we're not going to get fired anyway. It's not real death. Like, I got a sister. Hey, Cap, I think I've learned some stuff from what we've been doing. I know I accidentally started that cult on
Yeah.
Pandora and that stuff. But like, no, no, no. I think I got
Yeah.
it dialed in on the. I understand the economy of nothing, Captain. Let me lead
I
the
like
Rangers
that.
through
I
the
like that
game,
spin on
right?
it.
And the
And
captain's
you
like,
and Cheyenne were
"Oh
managing
shit, I do
watching.
have stuff to do though,
Yeah.
right?" Like, you know
And
what I
then
mean?
that's why the captain and Cheyenne could be like talking. And maybe because the planet is the board game, then all of the ships are just kind of like sitting atop and y'all are just watching us play it from the ships.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we want this to be in like its own location, I think this is a very cool time to do a thing
Yeah,
just
me
floats in
too.
space,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? Like this is a very cool time to have like, I mean, it's not, but like a chessboard in
I
space,
know,
but it's not
that's
chess, you know,
exactly what I
the
think.
game board in
Yeah, it's
space.
just a game board
Wait,
floating in
Yeah,
an orb or like a half orb in space. Yeah.
yeah.
but what
Like
happened? The
Earth.
captain's not playing at all
So
anymore?
because you're a
Or like
manager,
literally
you're
in
out
his
there
ship?
too.
This is what
So is
this is
he,
what
because
we
he's the manager
Uh-huh,
spitballed
of the
while
uh-huh.
Ryan
yeah.
was
Sorry.
gone.
I have to pee. Yeah.
So we had the thought about like, well, if the captain's not going to be doing like what more, like every time what could be more interesting? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well, if we could give Green something to do if the captain didn't have to do it this time,
Yeah.
and the captain's like, hey Green, I did it last year, just keep hitting the zero and it's fine. And Green's like, no, Cap, I got it now, I understand the economy of nothing, I know how to play the game, right? And then it's him going
Yeah.
through it, right?
Well, but I think, yeah, like, in my opinion, if this is going to be, like, the transformative moment for Cheyenne and Mr. Green, and maybe the kids, too, TBD.
Yeah. Is the captain a manager? Is that a question we had while you were gone
It
also?
would be
Oh,
because, right?
Yikes,
It's
right?
like you're the lead.
good
Yeah.
point. Well, I think that the captain is the captain. You know what I mean? Like, and so is
Yeah, but in
Cheyenne,
an
in that sense.
organization, y'all would be
Yeah.
like, sales managers. Yeah.
The
Like you're
captain's the
not gonna go in
manager,
But
and
yeah,
do
no,
the
exactly.
game.
But that's what I
Yeah.
mean. I mean, like the ship leaders are not participating because they've
You
already
guys are
been
Yeah.
being
reviewed
graded
or
on your
something.
crew's abilities, is what you're being graded on.
Yes.
In the economy of nothing.
But I think that, like, then really this is like a really interesting episode for Mr. Green in a sense, because I feel like you have to, like, Mr. Green has to come to the conclusion.
He's got to bring it all together. He's got to be a father and a businessman at the same time while playing the game.
Yeah, I think
right?
he has to, like, I think that basically the nephews are the key to it, where he has to, like, be a parent to these nephews, and I think eventually, like, sacrifice himself. In maybe this is where that moment comes in. I mean, maybe it's also on the casino planet, but like, I think that, like, if there's a scenario where it's like him and one of the kids, he has to, like, allow himself to be ejected into space on the hopes that someone will save him because he doesn't want it to happen to the kid. Right? Like, doesn't, because Mr. Green has to, like, realize through this process in some way that, like, the status quo is not acceptable, and, like, if this had happened to one of the nephews, they would have, like, died or something. Like, doesn't
But
something
also,
like that
I
have to
think
happen?
Green can just be triumphant here. I think that we like
Be the winner.
if we think about episodes like AI Run Amok or Spartacus or Plan B or like Mr. Green kind of like learns a lot of tough lessons over the season.
Okay.
And like I don't really know what's happening in the finale, but like I think it'd be cool as an audience at this point to be like, okay, Green and the captain got it, right? Like Green isn't going to do it the captain's way, and like he knows stuff that the captain doesn't know, but they're on the same page that like the game isn't the game you're being presented, Green, right? And like the captain realizes that in a different way than Green does, but the important thing is that they both realize it, right? And it manifests itself in a different way. When the captain realized it, he realized the thing to do was to not play the game, right? But the captain didn't have to play the game the previous season with his nephews, right? But Green's always been playing the game with the idea that his kids are in the background, right? But now it's actualized and he has to act like kids are around
Yeah,
and play the game
I'll,
at the same
I'll
time
add to
with
that
what he
that
knows now.
Cheyenne, this is her first year going through it because she's new to the company, right? Okay, so
Okay.
I think
yeah,
Cheyenne is a
right.
transfer.
So
That's
that
good.
comes in. So
Like
then she gets
no
it
one ever
by
she
watching
gets to be.
her crew just get dismantled. And let's say that you can't like so if your crew's in there, if you got two chicks, like whoever we want to add, maybe it's four interns, right? But you have like 25 interns, but
Yeah.
you you only
Mm-hmm.
get three saves, right? So one
Yeah, yeah,
has
yeah.
to
That makes
go.
sense.
Like that, I think,
That's how it is in
yeah, and I think that
Amazon.
would be a lesson for you,
I
right?
think that makes
Yeah,
total sense. You know, in Amazon, there's a thing. I read a book about the culture at Amazon and like this woman leaving Amazon, and then I also talked to one of my friends who worked at Amazon, and she was saying that like if you're a manager, you have to put up like a tenth of your people to be fired. Like there's like a tenth of the people that are like, we need to let you go. You need to move on. You're not a fit for Amazon, whatever. And if you don't put up names, then you are put
yeah.
up. So like maybe per what you're saying, like there's a name of like a list of people being eliminated, and then if she like saves one too many people, like her name goes on the list that's like visible publicly, and then she like stops saving people and her name like
And
gets
the
taken off the
captain is the
list of
one that tells her that.
The captain would never put someone else's name up.
Yeah.
And Green's like, no, you gotta put us up because you gotta go do that other thing. I
Yeah.
got this, homie. Right?
Mm. Yeah, I think, but like, so is Mr. Green like saving the nephews whilst playing the
Yes.
game?
Yeah, well, people do get fired from this, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
if the
yeah.
captain's not there, he
But
can't
remember,
ensure it,
But
right?
like
remember
my
So he
it's
has to
version,
crew
trust
versus
Green
crew.
here.
yeah, but also like the firing, in my opinion, is like quasi dangerous. It's like quasi life threatening. I think,
That's why
and
I
I think
think
that
you can
like it
only get to
needs to be
save
because
three of your crew, and maybe it's like four
yeah,
crew.
and I think that like they are ejected
Yeah.
into space. I don't know if
Okay.
that's too violent, but like I do think that like capitalism, the thing I really love about this like concept, by the way, like from an from a philosophical economics perspective, is that like in capitalism, anyone can be the winner, anyone can be the millionaire or the billionaire, but like not everyone can be because it requires sacrifices from the proletariat, right? So I do think that like the proletariat in this dramatized version of it need to be like I'm quoting for people. This should definitely be one of the emotes, okay? I think that the proletariat needs to be like sacrificed, and I do like the idea, like it seems to me that like in terms of being in Cheyenne's perspective, like her seeing her own name go up on this board of people getting fired when she like saves people or whatever to like be a part of her unpaid intern crew, and then realizing her name pops up because she like keeps saving too many people. Maybe that's like too generous of an interpretation for her character, honestly, but I think that like that would be like a really big switch up. I think that would motivate her to be like, I'm joining the captain's, like I could see her in between episodes being like, okay bro,
But
like
here's
what's
my
the
thing
like
with
what are we
like
doing here? Because
I like what it does for Cheyenne's character ejecting out the people in space, but in reality, I think you should just get
yeah.
fired. I think that's what happened.
Well, I think that I think that like it's just a visualization of it because eventually someone will come and pick them up.
Yeah, okay.
I think.
Well, absolutely in the economy of nothing. Like someone gets shot into space, and it's like, oh my god, they got shot into space. It's like, oh no, they were just being fired. It's like, but they really
Yeah, so
shot him
what
into
happens
space. It's
is
like,
wherever they're
that's like a
standing,
fucked up way to fight. Like I guess they're fine, but like that's rude.
wherever they're
Like,
standing, just like I don't know, have like a jetpack robot or like a thing come out of the ground and it just puts a freaking space helmet on their head and just like slaps a spacesuit on them and then ejects them out. And it's like all this stuff in a bag.
I think they could like be in
Yeah,
spacesuits,
and
basically.
they're
I was assuming they were
fired,
in
they're
spacesuits.
alive, but they're just like blasting into space hoping that someone will pick them out. So it's like, did they live? Did they not live? We're gonna assume that they lived.
Well, but
Right?
so are we just assuming that Mr. Green's already on board then? Because I was thinking that like the nephew getting fired, I'm just picturing, I guess, like a kind of
No.
dramatic scene where like Mr. Green is trying to save the nephew or like one of them, and like it doesn't actually
I'm
matter
teaching
about
the
the
nephews
firing because
about the
like
game, right? The whole point of the game is that we learn that the game is rigged, and we
If
learn
you've
how
heard
to
the song, "The Stars
what?
Ain't Coming," it's about
It's
showing
about
the
showing
Rangers
the
the game.
Rangers
I
the
don't know if
game.
anyone
Mr.
knows the
Green
lyrics.
knows the game in the same way that the captain knows the game. He just knows it in a different way. In the same way, you're about to come to the conclusion that Cheyenne knows the game, and you're right on the tip of your tongue. You keep wanting to fall back, and there has to be a reason that it has to lose. But this episode is about completing it because it's the economy of nothing, and we're about to take it down in 2 episodes from now. It's not about losing anymore.
Like, there is a ch this is the thing where, like, if this is, like if this is the episode placement of where we're going, and of course, I think this is, like, the game idea is great, and the story idea is great, and it's definitely going somewhere, and we're definitely making the game like, this is great stuff, but, like but if you were thinking about it just right here, I'm cool totally cool with, like, this is definitely a perfectly good time
Yeah,
for a win. Like, if you're thinking about, like the flow of like a 22 episode season or whatever. Like, no, like episode 20 is a great time to be like, okay, deep breath. That was very serious, but we got through it and we won. Hey guys, that was a game. There's a real
yeah.
fight coming, right?
And
Like,
it's a good
is
thing we
like
all figured out how it
mm,
is the
all
flow,
works right
right?
before it was like training, but we didn't know it was training. Well, the Moonshine crew did, but Cheyenne didn't. Like Cheyenne and her crew did not, and she learns that now she is ready, and then that's when you're totally on board with the captain going into the finale of how we take it on, and then in season
In this
two,
narrative
you're on board with the captain. There's not as much fighting going on. Yeah.
in season wise, like it would work in like the flow of like Draconaria to Draconaria is the arc. And then, like, the thing she didn't know about Dragonaria the first time, like, both actual information and, like, as a character understanding things, she'll be a very different character the next time she comes to Dragonaria as, like, a very good comparison to her from before. And then here's her time where she's going to be faced with the challenges of the season again, right? It's the economy of nothing game. It's the things that they've learned throughout the season that they're now being
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's
tested
basically
against,
take
right?
everything
It's
about
like
society now and capitalism and how like inflation fucks with you, interest rates fuck with you. Everybody's fucking with you. They're always trying to get your bag. And then the second you get yours, they take it away again. That's the point. That's that is the economy of nothing. It only works because they let it work until
and
it doesn't
so
work anymore.
but I like the idea. What I will say about capitalism and the idea of this game is that I think that there should be just one winner. Because I think that like crews should turn against crews, maybe in this sense,
yeah, but
and
I
like
I think
I think
I
that the Mr. Green can be looking out for the kids. But I just want to say that like my one thing that is apropos of what I've spoken about before, so I will leave it be here with this one comment, is that I think that this needs to be dramatized within a character. So like I think that there should be like one of Cheyenne's crew. I think like the deck should be stacked against her, like not being able to like rescue endlessly or something. The deck should be stacked like the nephews have a friend, like whatever, Rebecca or whatever her name is, like of Cheyenne's crew that
Christina.
Christina, like they have like a friend on Cheyenne's crew and they try to help her, but Mr. Green is like, don't, like we can't, we have to keep proceeding or whatever it is. And I think that like someone like has to be sacrificed in my mind to make this like point drama, like to dramatize this point that like this is the economy of nothing, this is capitalism, this is the corporation, like you can't save everyone. Like Mr. Green's job is just to rescue his own like nephew's crew, and they're like, this is fucked up, what about Christina? And Cheyenne is
Is
like,
what is
this is fucked up, what about Christina? I can't save her. And meanwhile the captain is like blowing up the headquarters or something. I don't know.
from a practical standpoint,
Yeah.
like is what we need a character that we've known
Yes.
throughout to get get got like
I think she needs
immediately
to
in the
get
game so that we
fired.
know the game's
You got to
real
raise the
or something
stakes, and it's got to be a
like
character
one
that's
of
got to do.
yeah, okay, yeah.
I think, yeah, I just think there has to
Or
be
are you
some kind
saying
of
we need a
loss.
POV character that is one of like is this like are the POV characters of this like the Rangers? the two sets of Rangers, right?
Yes.
Is this from like Alex and like Christina's point of view?
Yes. And
right?
I think that like they can't both make it to the end because per capitalism, like only one of them can be the billionaire. Or, you know, like, or per this, like only one crew can win. So maybe Mr. Green is saying like, we're winning this game, and he like doesn't boot off Christina, but doesn't save her or something. I think there has to be some kind of like, unless you want this already to have been determined in a previous episode, but I'm like, I don't know. We can do that if we want. I think this like character development or realization has to like hit where the audience is thinking, oh, the next episode, they're going to burn this place down.
Okay.
Like they're all over.
Okay.
Like the captain has been over it since episode 1. Mr. Green like is now pissed. Like Cheyenne has been betrayed or can't. Like she wants to save her favorite person, but she can't. Whatever that. Like the nephews, the twins. I was gonna say twins. They're not twins. But like the nephews are now like at revolution mode, and I think that needs to happen here. It can like be built up.
I get what you're saying.
But I think if that's the penultimate episode.
No, I think that's fair. I think that we don't have to like put that on.
Yeah, the game I think you're going. Right?
I think that's stuff.
Your point, I think we can.
That's stuff that you're right.
I agree. Like that is a great way. I think Mr. Green wouldn't purposely in this scenario of like people. There's real consequences. I don't think I would push Rebecca out. Right? I would be like, guys, we can't save her. We can't.
Christina.
Yeah.
Like,
you know.
Like, maybe one of the nephews tries to, like, I don't know, whatever, jump. Like, I'm thinking Mario Party minigames, too, and he's like, oh, no, I'll help you. And Mr. Green pulls him back, or maybe he just, like, can't reach it in time, or the, like, brother does it. Whatever that scenario is, I think needs to, like, dramatize the loss of the economy of nothing.
Mr. Green, Indiana Jones.
And, like, that's the last time we see this bitch, too, by the way. Christina is gone. And she's not dead.
I think that
she's dead.
This is going to go a different direction, but there needs to be a part where Mr. Green's like, oh, he has a way to beat the game. It's about collecting this other stuff along the way or something like that. And at some point, it's the scene from The Last Crusade, and Alex wants to grab the thing because he's like, oh, Mr. Green. He looks up to Mr. Green a little more than Eric does or whatever. And he's like, oh, the trinket's about to fall. And Mr. Green has to be like, Alex, let it go. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
No. I thought you liked that.
I like
with
it.
your Indiana.
Yeah, I just can't picture what did that happen
in The Last Crusade. The cup's falling into the crack, and Indiana Jones is trying to grab it, and his dad's like, Indiana, you gotta let it go, right? So Mr. Green, because his dad was always obsessed with getting these trinkets, and he had to let it go, and he needs to tell his son that he unknowingly to Mr. Green throughout this season, he has been drilling stuff into Eric's head that he didn't know he was drilling in. Alex's head that he didn't know he was drilling into his head. And this is a moment of realization. Talking about eating Dad Green. No, let the Grail go. This is a game. They're not actually getting ejected into space. Christina's really fine. Like she might have to get a job somewhere else, but don't fall off this actual gantry.
Okay.
Right?
I think that makes sense. I also think that Mr. Green considers this to be like a side quest in a way that the kids don't, which I think is helpful. You know what I mean? Like your first performance review, you're like, this shit is serious. But like at some point, it kind of becomes routine. And I think Mr. Green has been through 5 of them at least.
The highest record for completion. That's what.
Yeah, because he just like does it every year. He's just like, fuck this.
Breaking new records every year.
Yeah, and that's why I think he like is chilled, like taking the flags off the other people's like lapels or whatever. He's just like, okay, we gotta keep moving, but like because that's also part of the process.
Field day to Mr. Green.
Yes,
right?
yes,
it's
exactly. Like... He's like, okay, it's a potato sack race. Fucking hell, let's do it. And there's like a lawnmower. There's like a lawnmower live behind him, chasing them all down. He's like, okay, guys, hop along. Fuck it.
Then an egg race on spoon.
I like that idea.
All right, well, guys, this has been great, but I think I'm going to have to go ahead and call it for us this week. We've been talking for a while.
2 hours and 5 minutes.
We're at 2 hours here. I don't know if the entire runtime will be that, but I think that we probably, probably some people need to get to bed. Some people have gone back and forth on the train multiple times and listened to this episode on multiple days. But thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Mike Allen, the new certified genius on the podcast, for joining us. Thank you, Ryan, for the only remaining dullard here. And everyone, please make sure you check down below wherever you're listening or watching to this, because we have links to some of the crap we were talking about. I'm telling you, there's a JavaScript down there. I don't know what it does. I'm going to try and make it do the things we said. All right, everybody. I hope you had a great week. Anything else, guys?
EconomyOfNothing.com.
EconomyOfNothing.com. Patreon.com/theeconomyofnothing. Let us know what's up. Gmail. EconomyOfNothing@gmail.com. I should get a podcast at EconomyOfNothing.com or something like that. But anyway, don't email that. I don't have it.
Bye.
See you later.
Dullard out.